Hi, it's Camille from Chicken Scratches and Sniff. Today I have 6 more fabulous ideas for you to teach Gordon B. Hinckley chapter 5, which is called Daughters of God. And it's a great lesson. I'm excited about it. We don't normally get a lot of lessons on Daughters of God unless you're in Young Women's, so it's kind of a fun lesson to do. And speaking of Young Women's, that is my first idea. Start with the Young Women's theme. You can get a poster from the Young Women. Probably they have extra ones, so they'll let you borrow their framed one if you ask super duper nicely. Or maybe you can go buy one down at distribution or print one off online. There's tons of different designs that you can use, and you can get some for free, so don't worry. So print it off so that everybody can see it, or write it up on the board and just go through that Young Women's theme and how it relates to the specific quotes that Gordon B. Hinckley shares with us. So the beginning is, we are daughters of God. So why does that matter that we know that we're daughters of God, we're divine? Why does that matter? How does it change? How can we make that an application into our lives? And then pick out quotes from President Hinckley, because he talks about how we're daughters of God and how important that is, and to remember who we are. And so you could continue to go through that theme and to tie the two together throughout your lesson, and then end with the Young Women motto, which I love, and it goes great with the last section in President Hinckley's chapter. And the motto is stand for truth and righteousness. And in the end of, in chapter 6, it talks about rising up to our full stature and standing and being immovable. And so you can even all say that together at the end. Even if you're not a woman, you guys can all say that, stand in truth and righteousness, because it applies to all of us. So that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is, okay, where'd they go? Okay, here we go. I know this is going to be backwards for you guys, but just bear with me. So these are some quotes that I made that Sister Hinckley gave, not President Hinckley. So they're from Sister Hinckley, and I have all these for you free on the blog. And you can print them out and you can put them on the board. And when people come in, you can have them take a marker and just put a tally mark next to one of their favorite ones. And they can do more than one, that's fine. And just tally mark it, okay? So it's just like a pre-opening activity that gets everybody involved. And they can read through the quotes beforehand. And the reason why I'm doing Sister Hinckley is because she's a great example of a strong daughter of God that we can look up to. And so then you can talk about how all of us have read these words, because they're going to read them when they go up to do it. So even if they haven't before, they have now. And she's such a great example for us, and how her example of being a great daughter of God and remembering who she was has been such a great help for all of us. And so that's just an easy way, and then you can tie in some of her quotes into President Hinckley's quotes and move forward with the lesson, and even end maybe with some other ones. Or you can just share them on Facebook and talk about it beforehand. Now, idea number 3, thanks Jennifer, is to take some scripture stories, examples from the scriptures, where basically, one of the sections talks about how we need you women, is what President Hinckley says. We need you. And the men can't do it without us, and we can't do it without them. And there's great examples of that in the scriptures. Adam and Eve, they needed to be together. They left the garden together, and Adam wasn't complete until he had Eve. You know, they needed each other. Joseph Smith and Emma, Joseph Smith didn't get the gold plates until after he married Emma, and that they were a strength for each other that way. Mary and Joseph, I mean, the angel told Joseph to stay with Mary because they needed each other, and together they could raise up Jesus Christ together, right? So those are just some scriptural examples that maybe you can break into groups with, or you can just discuss in your class if you want to. But really, in section 2 is all about Doctrine and Covenants, section 25, and that would be really a great focus for your entire lesson if you just wanted to go through that, and then maybe draw these scriptural examples into it as you go through those verses. Okay, another example, another idea. So a few years ago, it might be 3 years now, Mormon.org did a campaign for Mother's Day, and the hashtag was It Was Mom. And so you can still search that hashtag on Facebook or on Instagram and pull up some of these images. Okay, and it says things like, who made my home a holy place to live? Hashtag it was mom. And this one says, who showed me how to love unconditionally? It was mom. And there's a section in the chapter that talks about the power of moms. And so you can search the hashtag and save these images for yourself or screenshot them and reshare them in your Words Facebook group or in an email or something, and start a conversation before your lesson even starts, and talk about, what's an example of this with your mom or a motherly figure in your life, and what examples do we have, and just share a few of them and try to get specific stories ahead of time and get that conversation done. So then when you get to that part of your lesson on Sunday, you already know what people you want to call on to expand upon their comments that they've already given. You already know if you ask this question, you want this person to answer it because they already gave something. But you're also allowing those people that can't attend Relief Society or Priesthood an opportunity to share without even being in that class. So it's a great way to get everybody involved in the ward, not just those that attend on Sunday. So if you need these, if you can't find them, email me and I'll help you find them. But just use hashtag it was mom and you should find a whole bunch of these. There's like 6 different ones, okay? Oh, I forgot the ensign, but in the March ensign that came out, you might have gotten it this week. It's talking about the 175th anniversary of the Relief Society, and that's what we're celebrating this year. And there's a whole 10 pages on the Relief Society, and the general presidency, they're asked these questions and then they give answers, and that's a great way to further study this topic of Daughters of God and how the Relief Society contributes to the church and their role in the church's mission and how we can do that. Like, one of the questions was almost the same as section 5 in the chapter, so you can even draw those 2 sections together and have those quotes tied together. And that talks about how men and women need to work together in order to make this great church of God, right? So there's some great things in there. Make sure you check it out. If you don't get the ensign delivered to you, the LDS.org, the Gospel Library app, you can get them on there for free. So look it up, okay? Now, last idea, I have to move the camera, so just give me a second. I have these dolls. So guys, you can use a manly doll, and girls, you can use a girl doll, because we're going to represent ourselves here, okay? And this goes with the last chapter. So I'm going to use the girl doll for me, okay? Hold on, I got to lower you down just a second. Oh no, Willie, come hold this. So, I have Play-Doh, and if you don't have Play-Doh, you can make some, thanks, down a little bit. Google, Pinterest, they have a whole bunch of stuff, right? So I have my doll and I have my Play-Doh. And in section 6, it talks about rising to that divine stature in us and being unmovable and strong women, daughter of God, or strong men, right? Strong people. And you're going to talk about with this Play-Doh, how do we stand immovable? How do we get to that point where when a whole bunch of rain and trials or whatever rain down on us, that we're not going to fall over, okay? So as you get those answers, you're just going to put them around the person's feet. And it's actually better if you have a smaller doll or a whole bunch more Play-Doh, but we're going to make do for right now, okay? And as they give you your answers, you're just going to make this stronger and stronger. So obviously, one prayer once a year isn't going to make you immovable, but multiple things every single day will. And so you'll just keep doing that, okay? And then she stands, and you could put this in a pie tin, and then you can pour water on top of her again afterwards, and she'll stand afterwards. So make sure you get a lot of good Play-Doh, and try this one out before you do it in your class to make sure that she does stand, okay? And then you can that's just a great way to apply it to your lesson about how we need to do that. And because there's so many great quotes in this lesson that are great, but we need to make sure that we're applying them as well. Sorry, I accidentally took the camera off the stand, and so my husband's holding it. So make sure that you're actually using those great quotes in the lesson and showing them how to apply it into their lives, because that's what we need to do, right? In order to become better. So this is a great chapter. Make sure you study it. I even left an extra talk in the study section that I added after I published it, because I've been listening to these great ebooks, and Sister Dalton has a great ebook that talks all about how great women are. And if you haven't listened to it yet, go and listen to it. It's great. I will leave additional links to things that you might need on my blog post. So you have to click over to the blog post in order to find those links. Okay, guys? Thank you so much, and I will see you guys again soon.